cooking and nurturing. So there's that aspect of it as well. And that kind of brings me to another word that I was thinking of is transformative. So fire is transforming, right? So we take a piece of wood, we burn it, then it becomes the ash. So it's changed something. We boil water, it becomes steam or whatever. So it can transform things. So we can use fire within us also to help us create change. One of the things, another word that the yogis use for that is tapas. And we hear that word and we think of small plates of little appetizers and things like that. But the word tapas in yoga also refers to our spiritual fire. This, again, we talked a little bit about in the anger class, how when we put all of our fire into our emotional life, into our anger, and we're using that fire in more destructive ways, it kind of steals our fire from our spiritual practice. So that's another way we can flip it, right? So if we're always kind of in that anger, kind of all the time, we can turn it around, maybe use that fire toward the tapas that we need to do our practice, to get through maybe a tough vinyasa class or to do some core work or something like that. We won't get too crazy with that stuff tonight. What I want to do tonight is more calm and cool the fire. So we're going to work a lot on kind of opening up the area of where the fire is said to be in our bodies. So that's the area of our kind of solar plexus, our belly, our liver, even a little bit down into our hip flexors and our quads. That whole area is associated with fire element in the body. So we're going to try and open up where we sometimes get compressed, because if our fire is here and we're always kind of slumping and sinking, it's kind of pressurizing that fire. We can think of it that way. And when we kind of pressurize fire, what happens? It could, right, be explosive. So we don't want to pressurize fire. We want to have space for it so that it can really be bright and illuminate and give us that light, give us the warmth, give us the radiance, without all the kind of, more challenging things associated with the fire. So sometimes that, if we go more toward that, then we're just in that anger, frustration, judgment, criticism, all those things on the sheet that you guys already read. Okay, any last minute thoughts before we start our practice? Okay. So we are going to need either like 2 bed pillows, or if you have a yoga bolster, that can substitute for your 2 bed pillows, a yoga blanket. And if you have blocks, keep those around. You might need them to adjust and support. And we're going to start in a supported bridge, but I'm going to be kind of really specific about what we're going to do here. So we're going to take either your bolster or your 2 bed pillows on the middle of your mat. And if you have the 2 bed pillows, I would say also put a blanket on top. It just gives it a little more firmness. If you have a yoga bolster, you probably don't need the blanket. And then I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody so that we don't have any extraneous sound. You guys can start your music if you want to play the Spotify playlist. Okay. All right, so once you've got that set up, we're going to sit on top of the bolster setup. And then this is important. As we come down, what I want you to do is kind of scoot your tailbone out from under you, because if it's tucked under, it'll arch your back a lot. And then you can recline back and come into a supported bridge. I'm just going to move these blocks out of the way. Okay, so you're welcome to have your camera on or off, or on you or not. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. We're going to use a lot of breath tonight. So first, just kind of taking a few moments to settle. Let your body really land in this moment. We will bring in some of the other chakras as well tonight, because the fire element needs to be built on something, right? So we need the ground to build a good fire. So first, really feel the ground underneath you. Because the more grounded we are, the more control we have over our own internal fire. If we are ungrounded and we have a lot of fire in us, we might be more reactive. We might be more judgmental. So more grounded, we have a less likelihood of being kind of explosive and reactive. Really let your sacrum drop into your props. And if your lower back does feel a little funky here, just go ahead and tip your tailbone up a little bit more, and that'll help lengthen that lower back. Initiate now a breath into your belly. Allow the belly to really rise and fall as you breathe in and breathe out. So when we have a fire, we need air and space for that fire to be able to grow brighter. So using the breath, we can imagine that fire nice and bright in the area of the solar plexus and the abdomen. We're going to bring in a practice of engaging the pelvic floor, so working with Mula Bandha, to try and establish kind of a foundation for our fire. I call this golden flame breath. So what we're going to do is visualize a flame that's going to go from our pelvic floor all the way up toward our navel and toward our heart. So it goes like this. We're going to take a nice inhale into the belly. And then as you exhale, start to engage your pelvic floor muscles. Lift up as if you're drawing a line up towards your navel, up towards your heart. And then inhale, relax your pelvic floor, and let your belly inflate. Exhale, engage your pelvic floor. Imagine there's a flame coming from that base, drawing up towards your navel, up towards your heart center. And then as you inhale, relax the pelvic floor, breathe into your belly. And I'm going to ask you to do a few more rounds just like that. So our fire lights up our heart space, gives us that passion that we have in life. We hear that phrase, the heart is on fire, right? That's when we feel really excited, really passionate about something. Let's do 3 more of these golden flame breaths, imagining that golden flame coming up from pelvic floor, visualizing it coming up towards your heart. One more breath. Okay, so from here, I'm going to ask you to bring right knee into your chest and give it a good squeeze, drawing it in. We're going to take an inhale, and as you exhale, draw your navel in toward your spine, pull that knee in a little closer. And now we're going to try and sneak the other leg out as straight as we can. So we're opening up the hip flexor on that left leg. Hold it there for another breath. Let your shoulders stay relaxed, face stay relaxed. And now we're going to lift that left leg off the ground and hover it off the ground. We're going to bring it in toward the chest to meet the right leg. And then we're going to extend that leg long, hover it above the ground, and then pull the right knee in even closer. And then repeat that. Pull the left knee in to meet the right knee. And then as you inhale, extend that leg, push through your heel, and then pull the right knee even closer. And you're going to kind of feel like you're reaching your legs away from each other. Let's try that a few more rounds. Bring the knee in and extend it out. So we're never putting that heel on the ground, at least right now. And feel like you're pushing and reaching out through your left leg, left heel, as you draw your right knee into your chest. So keep it going. Let's do 2 more cycles. We're just trying to create some length through that left side. And on the right side, we're pulling it in, so that's more compression. So when we pull knee into chest, we're creating compression. And as we extend, that's creating extension here in our hip. All right, so now keep that leg off the ground, and we're gonna do 10 little pulses of that leg. So lift up a little inch or 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now reach, reach, reach through that leg. Try to put the heel on the ground. And if it doesn't reach, that's okay. Just do what you can. Hold there 1 more breath. And as you exhale, pull your navel towards your spine. Draw your knee a little bit closer. All right, and then go ahead and swap out. Left knee comes in, right leg down. First, let's just stretch that leg out. You can put that heel on the ground. Your leg might not be all the way straight initially. That's okay, because we're going to lengthen out that right hip flexor now. So we're going to float that leg off the ground and then bring the right knee in to meet the left on an exhale. And then inhale and extend as you pull your other knee into your chest. And let's do that a few more times. Knee in and extend it. And as you extend, the legs reach away from each other, and we try to pull that opposite knee in toward the chest. Let's go ahead and do a few more cycles. Good, now hold it out there, hover it above the ground, and we've got 10 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, now try to release that leg all the way down, heel to the floor if you can, and pull that opposite knee in towards your chest. Good, both knees in. Give them a hug, lengthen your lower back. And now we're gonna set the feet back down on the ground and see if we can take both legs out straight now. Now, for some of us, this gets pinchy in the back. So if it does, you're gonna still keep those knees bent. With the legs straight, kind of tip your tailbone up a little bit toward the front, which will help that pinchiness. And then let's take the arms overhead if it feels okay for you. So we're really in a kind of mild back bend. We're going to breathe into that area of the belly and the solar plexus. We're making space for the fire element within us. So don't be afraid to let that belly just rise and fall. I'm going to stay here for a few more breaths. Remember, if it's too much in your back, just go ahead and bend your knees. Last couple breaths. Let your arms and legs now really relax. If you were really stretching actively, let everything be soft now. We've got 2 more breath cycles right here. After your second breath cycle, let's go ahead and bend those knees again and let your arms come back down by your side. Okay, so we got to get out of here. We can do it a couple different ways. You can kind of scoot your pillows forward out from under you, or you can roll to your side and very carefully come off of the props. And we're going to come on up into a seated position from here. So we're going to do a couple things seated. And then we'll do some more restoratives later on. Okay, so feel free if you want to sit up onto a prop or a blanket. One second here. Okay, so we'll sit up nice and tall. Feel your sit bones on the ground. So that's your base. So imagine your body like your campfire, your fire pit, right? So the base of your body, the sit bones, the pelvic floor is like the base on the ground. And then imagine kind of building that fire up, lifting up through the rib cage to make space for that fire. And then let's take the arms, reach them out to the sides and overhead. Interlace your palms and press those palms up toward the ceiling. I'm gonna move my camera back so you guys get the whole view here. Okay, so you should really make space in the body so we don't have that pressure cooker inside of us. Hold it here, really lifting up. One more breath. And then slowly release your hands. Try not to lose all of that verticality, all of that length. We'll take an inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to round the spine. We'll do some seated cat-cows. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And now keep that going for a few more cycles. And as you round, give a nice squeeze into your abdomen. You want to create a lot of mobility in and around the area of the abdomen, the rib cage, creating space, creating length today. We'll also work with some twisting, because that twisting creates that warmth that we talked about with fire. 2 more cycles. All right. And then come back to neutral, sitting up nice and tall again. And now we're going to move the rib cage around in a circle. And you want to feel like there's kind of a churning here in your belly and in your abdomen. Good. And then reverse your circle, go the other way. Two more cycles here. And then back up to the center. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, we're going to side bend over to your right, walk your hands out, reach your arm over your ear. And we're just going to pause here. Let that opposite sit bone drop toward the ground so we get that base. And then we can fan open the sides of the rib cage and create more space on the side body. And send some breath here into that upper rib cage area. One more breath. Good, and then let's slowly come up and make your way over to the other side. So walk it out. We're going to hold that side bend. Opposite sit bone drops toward the ground. That creates an anchor point. So we can really reach through the arm, create space through the rib cage, through the side body. One more breath. And then very carefully starting to rise back up through the center. Go ahead and switch your legs. Put the opposite leg in the front. And we sit up nice and tall again. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, just a simple twist over to your right. Inhale, lift up through your chest. Exhale and turn. But I want you to really focus on a little squeeze on your side waist muscles. Those are the obliques. And when we squeeze them, it's like a little lift for our rib cage. So we take an inhale into the belly as best you can, and then squeeze like you're trying to cinch your waist in, and at the same time, lift up through the crown of your head. Breathing here, one more. And then release, inhale up through the center. And exhale, let's turn the other way. And then again, holding here, inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, use those side waist muscles like a cinch, pulling them in, squeezing the side waist to help you lift your rib cage, lift your chest, and the crown of the head. One more breath cycle here. And then inhale, we're coming back up through the center, reach your arms up. And then exhale, release your arms down, but keep as much of that length as you can. We're gonna stay here for a few breaths. You might close your eyes. You might have a candle in front of you. You can gaze at a candle here. And we're gonna take a few breaths with that kind of same golden flame breath. So we take an inhale. Exhale, lift Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, like you're drawing your flame up towards your heart center. And then as you inhale, we keep the length, let the pelvic floor relax. And then exhale, lift. So at your own pace, take a few more breaths. Every inhale, belly and pelvic floor soften. Every exhale, imagine drawing upward towards your heart, maybe even up towards your head. 2 more cycles. All right, and then we'll slowly release, and we're going to make our way into a tabletop position. So we'll come into all fours. If you need padding under your knees, make sure you have that. And if it's hard for you to do a lunge without anything on your hands, grab your blocks. You can put them under your hands. We're going to step the right foot forward and come into a lunge. So I'll show with the blocks. Totally optional. So in the tradition of yin yoga, a lunge is called a dragon. And dragons, of course, are associated with fire and heat. So we'll do some dragon poses. We're going to bring both blocks or hands inside your right foot and walk your right foot a little bit to the right. If your blocks are up high and you feel like you could lower them down or bring your hands to the floor. And then we're going to let the right knee drop open to the side. So it's called the winged dragon. So we get a little opening in the hip socket. Then we're going to take a couple of breaths here. And you might notice that this could get a little fiery as we hold it. So see if you could breathe through it. Breathe into your belly. And let your face be soft as you hold it. Now, some of you might wish to deepen this. You could come down onto your forearms with or without the blocks. So you're probably noticing that this is a big hip opener. Hip opener we did last time in our second chakra. But when we do poses for the hips that are water element, so second chakra is water element, it can help temper fire a bit. So by bringing more fluidity into our bodies, we can temper our fire. So for me, I love to work with hip openers. I really feel like that helps my my fiery tendencies. So we're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Okay, after your 3rd breath, no hurry. You thought you were getting out of it, but you're not. You're going to twist. So you're going to bring your right hand onto your right leg and turn open. And you're going to press your leg and hand into each other if you want a little bit more action there. And then we stay in the twist. We're going to hold the twist. So sometimes these yin poses that we hold that get a little fiery, they can be a bit provocative, meaning that they might provoke reactivity. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, I got to get out of here, and your fire is starting to really kick up, see if you can find a nice soft breath to help you get through it. You're going to hold here for just 3 more breaths. Okay, so after your 3rd breath, no hurry. I want you to really take your time. So we're going to bring those hands back down to the ground or the blocks and slowly walk that foot back in. Slide the foot back. And then let's take a brief child's pose just to temper that fire of the dragon. Let your head release between your arms. Palms might be up on the blocks if you have blocks, or come to the ground. Good. 2 more breaths in child's pose. And then let's go ahead and do our other side. So we're going to come back up into our table with or without blocks under your hands. Step your left foot forward. Your hands are going to be inside the left foot. Put the blocks on any level or bring your hands to the ground. And then let's drop that left knee out to the side. As long as that feels okay for you, you're always welcome to change it up if it's not working for you. I like to let the hips come a little forward in this pose. Again, we're getting that back hip flexor. We hold a lot of intense emotion in our hip flexors. So it's good to create space there. Again, if you'd like to deepen, you could come down onto your forearms. And if that's too much, stay up higher. Any knee problems can always bring that foot flat as well. Send that breath low into the abdomen. It's a lot more grounding and calming to breathe lower in the belly. Three more breaths in this first position. Notice what comes up for you as you hold these intense postures. And then after your third breath, we'll come into the twist. So take your time, bring left hand to left thigh, turn open, and press your thigh and your hand into each other. So I'm just going to turn around so I'm not facing away from you guys. A couple people are doing the video, so I want to make sure I'm still facing them. Okay, so stay here now in the twist. A few more breaths. Again, not noticing reactivity. Sometimes when we hold these intense postures, stuff comes up for us. But use your breath. See if you can stay with it. 3 more breaths. And then after your third breath, very carefully, try not to move too quickly, make your way back, and let's come into that child's pose once again. Okay, so from here, we're going to come on up into a seated posture. Grab my volume here. Okay. Grab either a pillow or a folded blanket. We're going to sit on that. I'm going to do another seated side bend. Okay, so take your legs out straight for a moment. We're going to slide the right leg out to the side, like bound angle. Now, if your knee is relaxed and feels happy, no worries, that's fine. You're going to leave it there. Those of you who maybe that knee is a little floating off the ground, put a pillow or a block underneath it. Okay. And then we're going to take the left leg, widen it out. So we've got like a nice open position in the hips here. Grab one of your blocks or a blanket or a pillow and put that inside your left leg. We're going to flex the left foot, point the toes up toward the ceiling, and make sure we're grounded through our sit bones. We feel like we're right on our base. And then we're going to take those arms and reach them overhead. Interlace your palms like we did before and press those palms up. As you root your sit bones down, lengthen up, create space for that fire. And then we're going to let that left hand come down to the block and see if you can slide out, maybe bring your forearm onto the block. And if not, you're just going to stay up a little higher. If it would feel better for you to put it behind, that's fine too. So it depends on what feels best for you. Okay. All right. So top arm is still reaching up. We're going to bring that top hand down to our rib cage. Take your hand on your rib cage and pull that rib cage back, back, back. So you find a twist. And then keep that hand on the hip. Take your other hand for a moment and try to lengthen from your armpit. So you're going to try and reach these bottom ribs toward your foot. So sometimes we compress and make like a curve here. I want you to try to lengthen that. Okay, so bottom ribs are lengthening, top ribs are rolling back. Now we're going to take that arm back up. And you can either keep your arm on that block or on your leg or on your foot, whatever feels right. Reach that arm, try to touch the ceiling. And then if it feels good for you, take the arm, reach it over your ear. So again, just like in that initial side bend, but now it's a little deeper with this new leg position. Try to pull your arm toward the wall at the side to lengthen through your side body, but we're trying to keep that sit bone dropping toward the ground. It might lift a little bit, so we don't need to like be aggressive with it, but we're not letting it lift completely off the ground. See if you could lean back a little bit so you stay grounded through your sit bones. And we're taking one more breath. Good. From here, bring that top hand down, place it on your hip, tone your belly, and then push that hip down and carefully come up. And we're going to twist toward our bent leg side. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, use those side waist muscles to turn. Inhale, back to the center. And then we're going to take our straight leg, bend it, and place it right in front of your right shin. So we'll do one more twist here. So foot is either going to stay right there, or if you want to go a little deeper, you can cross that foot over and place it on the other side of your right leg. Okay, try to find those sit bones, build the fire from the ground up, really root into the ground, and then pull on your shins to help you create length and space in your side body. Squeeze your legs together. That'll give you some stability as we take the palms and reach them up again. So imagine that golden flame from pelvic floor reaching up towards your heart, towards your head. And now we're going to twist over toward our left side. You're going to bring one hand to the outside of the leg, other hand onto the ground behind you. Anyone who wants to can cross the elbow past the knee if that's a version that you enjoy. For me, it makes me gun around because I'm short with my arm. But if your arm bone's long enough, you could do that and it would feel nice. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale and turn. I'm going to try and squeeze those side waist muscles. One more breath. And then inhale, unwind it back to the center. Okay, we're going to bring the bottom leg out from under you and try to stack the top shin on top. So this is called fire log pose. Our shins are on top of each other like a fire log. This is challenging for many of us because it's a lot for the hips. Might feel really fiery. So we can add some props to make it more comfortable. So if this knee is like way up there, here's a couple things you could try. Bring the foot out wider. So it's like half fire log. Sometimes that alleviates some of the fire. If that's still not working for you, you could stick a blanket underneath that elevated knee and support it. If all of that doesn't feel good, you're going to just come to a cross leg position because that's already going to give you a lot of stimulation. Those of you who can are in fire log. Stacking our shins, we're going to flex the feet and sit up tall. Drop through your sit bones. And then again, inhale, reach the arms up, make your space. Interlace palms and build your fire. Lengthen, lengthen. From here, twisting towards your right, and you're going to bring your left hand inside your left foot. We're twisting toward the right, right hand behind you. And then you could press your hand and your foot into each other to help you turn into the twist. Good. You can stay here if you want to get a little more fiery. Slide that arm until your elbow comes into your foot. And then you might bend your arms and bring your palms together to stack and turn open. And you're kind of pressing your foot and your elbow into each other. Some of you are going to stay more up here. That's perfectly fine. It all depends on what this is feeling like for you. Sometimes stage one is fiery enough. Good. On your next inhale, let's unwind it back to the start. And then we're going to bring our feet in front of us and windshield wiper a few times side to side. Okay, we're going to do that whole sequence on the other side. Then we're going to do a couple more restorative postures and our guided meditation for tonight. Okay, so now we're going to bring that left leg back, right leg out to the side, preparing for our side bend. Get those sit bones grounded. We're going to bring those toes up on the right foot. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace, press those palms up. Get as tall as you can. Good, and then from here, I forgot to tell you to move your block. Move your block to the inside of that leg. Let's try that again, and then release your hand down. Okay, top hand to your rib cage. We're gonna roll that top rib cage back so you feel a bit of a twist. Keep your hand on your hip, and then you're gonna use your other hand, lengthen the bottom side rib cage. It's almost like pulling that rib cage away from the hip. Okay, and then hand can either stay on the block, your shin, or your foot, wherever you can grab. Top arm's gonna reach back up. Turn your palm towards your right side and then reach it over your ear if that feels okay. Now let that left sit bone drop as an anchor point so you can really reach through the arm and get expansive in the side body. So a lot of times if we're spending too much time in the compressed posture, our fire might go out, right? Because that's a kind of a body position of defeat when we're collapsed in our core. Let's slowly come up. And then we're going to twist toward the bent leg side for a few breaths. So if my posture is always collapsed, I'm going to have this kind of look of defeat, maybe leading toward things like depression, lack of self-confidence, all these things that kind of dampen our fire. So our posture is one good way to keep our fire bright. Come back to the center, and now we'll prepare for that other twist. We're going to bring that straight leg. Foot might come right in front of your shin. Or we might cross it over for a little bit more of a twist. Squeeze the legs together, root your sit bones down, and then inhale, reach up. Interlace your palms, press up, lengthen, lengthen. And then we're going to twist to that right side. And you can stay here or you can hook elbow if you wish. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, turn into the twist. Use your side waist muscles. Keep the chest open, collarbone, shoulders are broad. One more breath. All right, as you inhale, unwind without losing your length. And we come into fire log pose. So bottom shin parallel to the top of your mat, other shin stacks on top. Again, use those modifications. You could slide the foot out a little bit. You could put support under that knee or just take a cross leg position. All right, grounding your sit bones. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace your palms. Lengthen, create space. And then we're going to twist. Bring right hand into that left foot. You might stay right there, pressing the foot and hand into each other. And that might be enough fire, or we're going to slide until the elbow gets into the foot, and then maybe bring the palms together into a prayer twist. Breathing here. Last breath cycle. Good, and on your next inhalation, unwind back to the start. Lean back, take your legs out straight, and we're gonna just shake those legs out, bounce them out, maybe circle the feet. That's it. And then feet flat, let's do a couple windshield wipers side to side. Okay, so we did a lot of active work there with some twists and some side bends. So we're going to bring it into some more restorative work next. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab some props. You're going to need something for a pillow under your head. So I'm going to move my pillows out of the way here and just put one pillow or folded blanket for your head. All right. And then we're going to take our two pillows or a bolster, and that's going to go off to your left side. And then from there, you can go ahead and come down onto your back. If anyone has sandbags, you might use those as well anytime. Let's take a full body stretch. Create that length, just like we've been doing. And then right knee draws into the chest. We're going to take that leg up towards straight and hold behind the back of the thigh. And push your thigh into your hands. Hands pull on the thigh till we get some resistance there. Holding another breath. And then we're going to bend that knee, bring that knee back into the chest, and really pull the knee in, but we'll do a little resistance by pushing the leg into the hands, hands into the leg. And then from here, we're going to come into the twist. So take that right leg over and rest it on top of your props. I'm rolling a bit toward my right hip. I'm sorry, toward my left hip. Right leg is on top. But what I'd like you to do is try to face your chest toward the ceiling. So in order to make that happen, I like to pull my left shoulder blade out to the left. And then that'll help me get my chest more facing upward toward the ceiling. Arms can come out to a T, or you could rest your right hand on your rib cage or your hip. All right, we're gonna stay there for about 3 minutes. I'm gonna put a timer on. So just staying in your twist. So twists are really good for kind of releasing trapped heat that we might have in our area of the abdomen, the spine, the nervous system. So it can really help release some of that energy that we're holding in the area of the torso. Stay with it a little bit longer. So really allowing yourself to relax now, drop into the ground. So when we do restorative work, this can help us maintain, preserve, or reignite our inner fire, especially if we've experienced those things that dampen our fire, that burn us out, exhaust us. Those of us who tend to use our fire for like working, or perfectionism, we can just burn ourselves out. And so self-care, nurturing, restoratives are a great way to replenish if we're feeling a bit burned out. We've got about 1 more minute here. Let there be a really soft, gentle breath now, bringing that energy down. Let's take 3 more nice soft breaths here. About finished with our 3 minutes. All right. So we'll take one more breath when you're ready, and then make your way back to the center, coming back on your back. Even yourself out, and then let's take a full body stretch. You can shift your pillows over to your right side now. And when you're ready, we'll bring that left knee into the chest. All right, so we'll start with that little bit of resistance work. Let's go ahead, take that leg up towards straight and hold behind the back of the leg wherever you can. And we're gonna push the leg into the hands and pull with the hands. So you feel that resistance, reach up through your heel. Holding it there, another breath. And then we're gonna bend the knee, bring that knee into the chest. Again, find that resistance. So as you exhale, pull the knee in, but then press the shin bone and the hands into each other. Just a little strengthening work. And then we're going to bring that leg across, coming into the twist. So bring your leg, so it's your shin, your ankle, your foot are all supported. Scoot your right shoulder blade out from under you to even yourself out, and take those arms out to a T, or you could rest your left hand on your rib cage or on your belly, wherever you can, or your hip. And finding that soft breath into the belly. So I'm going to just come up so I can start our timer. And we'll take 3 minutes on this side. Allow the face to soften. Let the tongue be really relaxed and soft inside your mouth. And with every breath, just dropping into the ground. So that image of kind of melting, of softening is associated too with like wax candles. So think about like a soft wax. Let all your tissues just feel like it's melting into the ground. Letting go of all effort. Can you notice where you might be kind of just holding yourself up from the ground? And see if you can find those places where your body still wants to hold on. Sometimes it's in the jaw or the facial muscles, shoulders. With every breath, can you let go a little bit more? I mentioned this also in the anger class. Sometimes we have to cultivate the opposite. So when we're angry and we're trying to control things and we're just all frustrated, maybe the opposite is letting go of that control. Allowing ourselves to feel vulnerable is not necessarily something that fire types like, right? Fire types like to, be the aggressor or the one controlling and one in charge. Can we allow ourselves to be vulnerable? Cultivating the opposite of being in control. Maybe a sense of being in a flow, of allowing instead of forcing. Last couple breaths here. So 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, let there be no rush. Go ahead and make your way back onto your back, even yourself out. And then let's take another full body stretch. And hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. So we're going to be doing 2 meditations. One is going to be in Shavasana. That is a really deep, transforming kind of meditation on fire. And then we're going to finish with a shorter one, seated. So I'm going to ask you to find your Shavasana now, but I'm going to suggest maybe taking your pillows, if you have 2 pillows, and stack them up so that you're going to put your legs out on the pillows. So just like a nice little elevation. And those of you who have either a weight, you could use a weighted blanket or a sandbag, or just a folded blanket. Put that right over the area of the pelvis and the low belly. So you have a nice little weight there. And if you prefer a different Shavasana, you're welcome to find it. It just gives a little softness for the legs. I'm going to be coming up. We give you guys a couple more moments to settle, and I'll guide you in a moment. So in the tradition of yoga that I studied, fire is also associated with spirit. So this meditation is one that gives us a sense of kind of dissolving the physical body. We're very much identified with our physical body in this life, but yoga asks us to be less identified with our physical body and more identified with spirit. So as we do this meditation, you're going to gradually feel like, let's say, lighter and lighter until you almost have this deep connection with spirit. Take a few breaths here. Let's go in through your nose and out through your mouth, and really just have a sense of releasing as you exhale through your mouth. And have a sense of kind of deeply landing on the ground. Let your bones be heavy, body heavy, sinking into gravity. And I'd like you to imagine the warm glow of fire around you. Maybe there's a fire pit, or maybe there's a circle of candlelight around you. Whatever visual of fire that you enjoy, bring that to mind. Let it be a safe fire, a controlled fire. Feel its gentle warmth. Maybe you could visualize the warm glow, the color of the fire. Maybe you hear the cracking of the fire, the sparks. And now imagine that fire close to the feet, near your toes. And imagine that that warmth of the fire could start to dissolve and melt the toe tips, Imagine the toe tips starting to dissolve, almost as if they were being consumed by the fire, as if your body were the fuel for the fire. And allow that sensation of dissolving, melting, start to move up into your shins. So toes dissolving, feet dissolving. Have a sense of your shins melting into this fire. And as the feet and the legs start to dissolve, you might sense their presence, but they feel less solid. A sense of purification, allowing that sensation of warmth and fire to move up through your thighs, dissolving the thighs, the knees, and allowing that fire to move up, glow of the fire to the pelvic area. Sensing that the fire dissolves or consumes the area of the pelvis. So you're starting to feel less and less defined. Allowing it to move up to the area of the belly. Dissolving into the area of the organs, the belly, stomach, liver, rib cage, lower back. So you're feeling lighter and lighter all the time. As your body transforms with this fire towards spirit. Allowing that sense of dissolving to move up now into your heart, into your chest and your shoulders. Sensing the shoulders melting, dissolving into the fire. Down through your arms. Consuming through the elbows, the forearms. The palms of your hands and all of your fingertips. Becoming lighter. Noticing even that pain dissolves as we become less identified with our physical bodies. And allowing it to come up through our collarbones and the throat and the neck. Dissolving, consuming into the face, the jaw, the eyes, the scalp, the head, the brain. So the yoga philosophies tell us that we are not just this physical body. We are not just our gender or roles in life. We are also this spirit that exists even beyond this physical body. So feel and sense yourself as this spirit, light, without pain, this place of kind of spacious awareness that we can get to when we let go of this identification with the physical. Take a few more moments to experience this sense of dissolving. Now, once again, start to feel your body on the ground again. Know that the physical body still exists. It's still there. You just became a little less identified with it for a few minutes. So reground yourself. Sense the borders of your body. Maybe sense into your fingers and your toes. And then enlivening that physical body with some prana, with some breath. A little deeper inhales and exhales. As you feel ready to, you could start some additional movement. Maybe you want to stretch or a hug of your knees. Take your time. And we're going to come over onto one side for a few breaths when you are ready. When you come onto your side, we're going to just pause there for a few breaths. So try not to rush. We don't want to disturb this sense of deep relaxation. I want you to hold on to that as you come up into a seated posture. And then finding whatever props would help you feel comfortable for a seated meditation. We're going to take a mudra for the fire element. So you're going to take your ring fingers and you're going to fold them down toward your thumb and then use your thumb to pin it in place. And then you're going to rest that down on your legs. So ring finger folds down, your thumb is going to hold it in place. Try to bring your ring finger to kind of the base of your thumb and then rest your hands down. We're going to sit up tall, find that space, build your fire, feel the root on the ground. And then either close your eyes or if you have a candle to gaze at, you can gaze at your candle with soft, soft eyes. Breathing into your belly. So this mudra is said to help balance our metabolism, which is very much related to fire. If our metabolism is really low, our fire might be low. It activates our body's fire energy. This is referred to as the sun mudra, encourages radiant health and a strong digestion. So we're going to hold it here. Nice soft breath into the belly. Let your tongue relax into the bottom of your mouth, away from your bottom teeth. Let it rest in a pool of moisture in the bottom of your mouth as you breathe in and out through your nose. Now imagine that you are on a path that winds up into the distance. The day is warm with a soft, gentle breeze, and you can feel the sun on your skin. Feel the path start to incline deeply ahead toward a mountain and slowly begin to ascend this mountain. The sides are steep and you must use your intuition to select the safest path. Higher and higher you climb until you can see a clearing and a plateau. There is a fire burning in the middle of this flat ground with golden flames lapping into the air. By the fire is a pen and paper. You stop and pick them up. And on this piece of paper, you're going to think about a person to whom you have relinquished your personal power. And imagine writing their name on this piece of paper. Hold it out to the flame and watch the fire consume the paper until it is completely transformed and destroyed. Bathe yourself in this warmth of the fire. Feel the warmth regenerate, strengthening your own connection to the fire. Allow it to connect to your personal power. Know that you are a spiritual warrior and that you have the inner resources and the divine guidance to help you overcome any challenges in life. Revel in this moment of personal power. Notice how it feels to release that connection to someone who took your personal power. Now it is time to turn away from the flame and climb down the mountain once again. Gratitude for the fire for helping you to reclaim this personal power. You are the same, but different. Your power store is stronger and will become more so every time you visit the flame on the mountaintop. You can do so at any time that you choose, whenever you feel you've lost your sense of personal power. Now release your mudra, put one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Feel the warmth of your hands on your body on your hands. Taking a couple moments here to connect that sense of personal power with the passion of the heart. We can temper our fire with a little bit of heart energy. In the heart, there's less judgment, there's more compassion, that sense of love, of giving and receiving. And in our next chakra yoga, we'll be exploring on a deeper level the heart center. So feel and sense the connection of personal power, your inner fire, to your heart. And allow the heart energy to temper fire energy. Let your hands rest down on your still in the area of the solar plexus, the belly, and allowing the visual of the fire to light up the heart and to light up our inner awareness, our inner light, to light up our wisdom. So imagine that light shining all the way up to the crown of the head, giving us insight, giving us illumination. Knowing that we can use the power of fire for transforming, for the power of good, for clearing out, for purification, for personal empowerment. Let's bring the hands together now in front of the heart space. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bowing your head down to your heart. Thank you so much, yogis. Namaste. All right, guys, thank you for joining. Feel free to unmute if you want to say goodbye, if you have any questions, comments. And I will hopefully have a new newsletter in the next week or two, and we'll have a new date for the September Chakra Yoga.
Thank you, Deanna. Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Good
Take care.
night. Thank you.